allow the two children to have the budget. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. She off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my yegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my yegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my yegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. My yegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. My yegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní àní ẹ̀sùn rájú. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Àní ẹ̀sùn rájú. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Àní ẹ̀sùn rájú. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Àní ẹ̀sùn rájú. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń gba rìbá. Àní ẹ̀sùn rájú.
Hello there, brethren. So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Mayegun live, and thank you very much for joining me. Please, after reading the caption of the broadcast, read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it, share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them to join us. Yes, Mayegu today. And if you have done all of that already, thank you. I think I'll tell you that later. Don't worry. So the rider for tonight is the exchanges between, or should I say the reaction of Onanuga or Olenuga. Somebody called him that, so I kind of find that a little bit kind of like tricky. The 70-year-old special advisor to Tifnumbu on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok matters, Onanuga, reacting to one of the people who have added their voices to the ongoing killings in Nigeria. The difference, or should we say the reason for the exchanges, is because since the conclusion of the United Nations General Assembly meeting in New York last month, where Shittiman attended and then advocated for the freedom of the people of Palestine and all that. So it is now believed that these Americans are shining more light in order to get the attention of Trump, to draw his attention towards the killings of Christians in Nigeria. The debate is not really over, just in case if you are wondering that. I thought that was back then. No, it's still on. The Texas senator, that is Ted Cruz, tweeted yesterday in support of the voices, the voices against the killings going on in Nigeria, which is now tagged, especially the one tagged the killings of Christians. And it is already gaining kind of like a huge momentum into the mainstream of the American media. As usual, that could be a problem, portraying Nigeria as, or maybe it wouldn't have been a problem. The problem there is that Ted Cruz is also proposing, let me see if I can pick that up here. Yeah. Ted Cruz is proposing what he called Nigeria Religious Freedom Act. So Nigeria Religious Freedom Act is going to be like a bill. It is a bill that will be comprehensive enough, not only to for America to acknowledge that indeed there is massive Christian killings, Christian genocide going on in Nigeria by the Islamic Jihadists. So once America recognizes that, it will then be the act that will give them the power to sanction, that's what it is, sanction Nigeria government officials, past and present, who have shielded these terrorists, state governors, senators, royal fathers, everyone that they know that have shielded these Islamic terrorists in Nigeria would then be sanctioned, and the sanction comes with different shades. So Onanuga responded and said, Senator, watch your mouth to shade, like, stop this malicious, I'm going to say, stop this malicious, contrived lies against my country I'm quoting Onanuga now, said, "We do not have a religious war in my country. The degraded Boko Haram terrorists operating on the fringes of Nigeria's northeast targets everyone." They are operating in the in the fringes of Nigeria's northeast. So they attack farmers, our soldiers. The bandits in the northwest kill worshippers in their mosques. Christians are not targeted. We have religious harmony in our country. Stop this malicious life. And guess what? They've been sending a lot of people onto the media as well. So please, because their fear, let me tell you, their fear or their alleged fear is that maybe America is up to something, you know, the usual. And then it will lead to regime change in Nigeria. Once they presented Tifnumbu as a jihadist, somebody who is enabling them. And with that, Nigeria is going to have an election soon, an election that seems to kind of going to be like a very serious one. It will come be like a good luck, Julantan 2.0. So, and because APC knew what they did before things got completely out of hand for Jonathan, so they are not taking chances. So to them, America is up to something. They want to cause religious war in Nigeria, and that shouldn't be allowed. So they sent someone to the TV, by the way. Yeah. Oh, let us start with that, right? So they asked somebody on to go and explain to everyone that what is going on in Nigeria right now. More Muslims are also being killed, and it is not limited to Christians, and America should back off, kind of like, you know.
Nations are not happy with Nigeria's posture in terms of certain global events that are happening. That is my opinion. Or perhaps some people are just hell-bent on proving certain things that their analysts sitting comfortably in their countries who have never set foot in Nigeria have predicted that by so and so Nigeria will disintegrate. So every single day, Nigeria proves everyone wrong. If I were to write a book about Nigeria, I would title the book Nigeria ... against all odds. We're here.
Okay. And one thing that got me thinking is that some of this security advisory had been issued in the past. But what really heightened this one was the evacuation of non-essential staff. And we usually see the U.S. doing this in war-torn countries like Syria, Afghanistan,
Are we a war-torn country?
And that's the question I want to ask you.
Are we a war-torn
does it look
country?
like the lens that they are using to actually look at us?
That's their own collective, selective myopia. This is what they want to see, they see. To them, they want us to be for our circle to be their box, and it must fit in their box. It cannot. We're a sovereign nation. We are not a banana republic. We are not a failing state. We are not a failed state by every single indices. If the problems that they are talking about were real, you and I will not be here in the Hilton having this conversation.
So should we be reviewing our security cooperation with these countries as a country?
We should absolutely review, redetermine, realign, reassign, reassess. We need to know who our friends are. We don't need friends in prosperity. We need friends who are there, who are here with us 24/7 throughout. But when everything happened after the fact, at this point in time, I am sure, again, speaking from my own perspective, we know who our friends are. We know who our adversaries are. We know who our potential adversaries are. We know who our potential friends are.
Do you think this has to do with Nigeria's sudden romance with some Eastern countries?
It doesn't.
Eastern blocs.
It is absolutely.
And of course, you see where we are purchasing some armaments from Turkey and all of that.
Irrelevant.
Some countries are unhappy.
Our preferred partner for purchase of material, equipment, platforms, and so on and so forth, at a point made it exceptionally difficult for us. If you recall, when Buhari came into power, there was a shortage of the AK-47 rifle ammunition. There was a 7-year waiting period. Why?
So the point there is that somebody like that was talking about, number one, denial, and then attack, which would be, oh, we need to know our friends. The America is saying it does not mean that it is true. We're a sovereign nation, and you know, we could handle our own affair, we could do our own things and stuff like that. Now, the thing is this: the targeted genocide against Christians in Nigeria is a documented, you know, event where the survivors and, you know, the areas where churches were burned down and all that, right? These are like a decade-long documented attacks, killings, including communities that were Christian communities that had their children taken from them by these terrorists. Some of them never returned, never to be seen again, right? So their parents, the leaders of some of these communities, and even from the terrorists themselves, who have boldly made videos to brag about their intention of wiping off all these infidels from the northern part of Nigeria and, of course, across the country. So you can pretend that, oh, they are just some ragtag idiots, you know, don't take them serious, but people are dying. People are dying. Church leaders are being kidnapped and slaughtered on cameras. Now that you have not really seen that for a long time, right, does not mean that you have to deny it happened. They are still kidnapping, you know. I mean, they're like from the eyewitnesses, survivors who indeed know who came to kill them and what they were saying when they came to kill them. So the government that has been playing politics with it, pointing fingers, happen to be the political party in government, happen to be the one that promised the people that it will never happen again. This was over 10 years ago. And here we are today, right? The one they chased out, those ones that chased him out, they all seem to just have completely lost the idea of how to get rid of these terrorists. APC enabled them very well. They did. And they all learned this out of, you know, say nothing. Even when these people are dying every day, say nothing. So the other side of the argument is that why did it take the propaganda from America to confirm the killings of Christians in Nigeria, targeted Christians communities in Nigeria? Why do you think it took that from them before those of you who are really Muslims, Nigerians, who believe that we are all living in harmony, we are living together and all that bullshit that you tell yourself? Why did it take those propaganda before you have to come out to tell us that Muslims are also being killed? I'm just saying, I'm not saying that there are those who have not been saying that, but you are not so triggered, angry or upset, right, that Muslims are also being killed by these terrorists. That's enough for you to even probably like be at the arrowhead on the advocacy to get rid of them. So why did you have to wait for those who you believe are using the propaganda of killing Christians to tarnish Muslims before you can then come out to actually say, oh, they are killing more Muslims? That's probably a question that we call rhetorical question. You don't even have to answer it, right? In Canada, in their own house, I don't know which part of Canada is this. I wouldn't say if it is their national stuff, right? But they will say it from this clip I'm about to play you. We're discussing the killings too. And this is why, you know, when the Canadian court, for example, ruled that Nigeria police, they are a terrorist organization. Anybody who is a Nigerian policeman, that means you are a terrorist working for a terrorist organization. That's what their law. In the face of the law in America, so in Canada, that's how they see you, right? So in that same Canada, right, there are those who are also aware of these killings. They have hosted the victims, the leaders, and mostly probably behind your back. Behind your back in the sense that they have managed, or Nigeria has managed, or APC, they've managed to numb a part of your mind that all these killings, you probably just read them as headlines and you don't really care about those who survive or where they ended up, right? So in Canada, in one of their parliaments, they're having similar chats.
The Honourable Member for Regina Capel.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to bring attention to the tragedy Christians in Nigeria are experiencing. The deadly terrorist organization Boko Haram is trying to eliminate the Christian faith from Nigeria. This is the same terrorist group that kidnapped dozens of young schoolgirls and burned innocent civilians alive in cages. According to reports, over 3.5 million people have been forced to flee their homes. 3 churches are destroyed every single day. 7,000 Christians were massacred this year alone, and the faithful must now meet in secret or in burnt-out sanctuaries. Sadly, the world is turning a blind eye to the plight of Christians in Nigeria. There are no embedded journalists covering the violence. There are not daily updates. Politicians around the world are not asked questions about how they will respond. We cannot ignore this violence and tragic loss of life. We must speak out and shine a light on what's happening so that people can donate to relief efforts and provide support to those displaced by violence. To my brothers and sisters in Christ, we know you know the power of prayer. We will not forget you. Stay strong. Keep the faith.
That reminds me. This praise song.
What shall I say unto the Lord?
Yes, Lord.
All I have to say,
Thank you, Lord.
thank
shall I
you,
say?
Lord.
Thank you,
We can
Lord.
deliver,
But come back to reality. As much as some people would probably see that as, oh, look at them, they are showing empathy, they are showing love. And if the people who are not even in Nigeria can care so much about, but there is so much to that. Because there's a part of us, you may call it PTSD, which means that whatever love you see them show out there or concern they are showing, there's always something masked. It's pretty much like a mask. So it's like a mask over something. There's always more behind it, where the conspiracy theorists will now say, no, don't trust America. Don't trust these people. All these cry. It's not because they're not coming to save anybody. That's from our PTSD. Because you're likely not totally wrong. There are others who are also cooking, believing that, with this thing that they are now, with all these guys like Ted Cruz and others, and this expose to what is going on in Nigeria, right? They said that that will help bring it to the attention of Trump. And the moment Trump is aware like this, Tinubu is gone. If Tinubu try to regain, I was like, no, calm down. Okay, bro, calm down. Number one, don't forget that Tinubu himself is a CIA asset, as we have all agreed, based on available evidence that they have tried very much to trivialize by making it like, no, asset, they call assets. Anyway, how Tinubu came to power in Nigeria, it is still strongly believed as the backing or the hand of America in it, because they could possibly have stopped him. Not stopped him from the poll, all right? But you know what I mean? Most of the stuff they had to hold on, use their court to hold on, all of that, it could probably, right, not even have gone that far. I'm just saying, based on our PTSD belief, all right, how invincible America is. So, therefore, America knows that a compromised president of a country like Nigeria is going to be useful some point, especially now that they are all scampering for what do you call it? They are scampering for this rare materials, they call them. For all of this, their future technology, this and that. So the way the whole world is going, right? Nigeria is quite in safe hands with Kolu, a compromised Kolu. So you thinking that these senators and others are talking about the killings of Christians in Nigeria, which would then bring the attention of the American government to what is going on in Nigeria, ostensibly maybe Trump as well. There may be imagination that is taken too far, where just won't finish you. You know that time when we say you have sat there, you have imagined the whole thing, you have put one and two together, and all you could arrive at is that that's a good thing. Thank God that Trump is going to be aware. No, it doesn't work like that. So at a point, you have to tell yourself, I say, more cut, when they are shooting movie, imagination and the rest of the get up and you are just going to be like, cut. So you have to cut yourself and come to reality. They don't give a shit about you or about Nigeria or Nigerians. In fact, they value what they will get from Nigeria than you Nigerians. If there's anything that they can do to just like we have concluded before, right? If they have any means of taking all of us out of Africa and take us somewhere else and just leave the Africa like that, the animals, the field, and the mineral resources underneath. You understand? They just build outposts instead of having cities, countries, no, outposts. Every time they need anything, they just fly in, dig, take, leave. Africans are not as important to them as your resources. That's the point. All right? But there will be so many experts that will disagree with me. I am not an expert. I am a layman. And life, they say, is a teacher. The more you live, the more you will learn. I've lived long enough to believe what I told you that, So, your resources. And with Tifnumbu, that is compromised, that they have compromised on, they don't have to change him. Or for your system that keep producing rogues, criminals. Yeah, it works for them, I think. But there are some other very much like advanced elite class that will say, no, you don't know what you're talking about. A developed, progressive Africa, where a safe Africa should in fact be the goal of the West. Because if you could keep Africans in Africa, where you stop all the war, the corruption, and the rest of that, that will reduce this constant wahala about immigration. So it is not in their own interest that Africa remains underdeveloped or Africa continues to have war and all that. Yeah, those elite experts. Say, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Yet people said these things ignorantly, but you don't know. If to say, if the West probably don't give a shit about Africans, right? They wouldn't be investing so much money on, medications for use, healthcare, support, outreach, on education, on this, on that. At least some people, they feed their goat before they sell them. You know, go feed the goat before you sell them sometimes. But the bottom line, Shy, is that if they can, indeed, let us stay enough, but that's not how it works. Sure, you get. So whatever or whoever is going to give them the unhindered access, which they already have, by the way, they already have the unhindered access. So maybe if they want more, that's the only thing that will make them say regime change in Nigeria. So don't get too messed up in conspiracy theories, all right? Don't. Because at the end of the day, you are probably going to lose your gaze, focus on the goal, you get? So back to Boko Haram stuff. Good luck, Egbere Jonathan. Although he has now finally come out to say no, he was misquoted. Jonathan came out and said at a book launch, right, yesterday, where Lucky Irabor, former defense chief in Nigeria, wrote a book about his experience of the insurgency in Nigeria and what he think could be done. But as Bollock, right? Jonathan was there. So to share is because it was under him that the whole thing, like the shit actually ate the fan. So, and cost him his second term attempt as president of Nigeria. And a lot has happened afterward. A lot. Now you are dealing with a Lakurawa terrorist, ISWAP terrorist, Boko Haram terrorist, Fulani terrorist, and so many other terrorists are banned. Okay? So at the book launch, talking about the Boko Haram experience. So he spoke about the scar himself. Is the scar he's going to carry for the rest of his life. At the point, like the Boko Haram even attempted to, they nominated Bokohari as their mediator to speak with the government on their behalf when they were doing their peace talk back then. So Jonathan now said he expected that although the mediation or whatever meeting never took place, right? However, he expected that if the Boko Haram have so much respect for Bokohari, that they nominated him and many other prominent northern leaders at the time, that he expected that when Bokohari became your president, it would have been a very good opportunity to end the terrorism. Jonas still never learned, or maybe his own Mumu is actually follow come in that regard. You are asking terrorists to end terrorism. Eh? If police in Onitsha, or police from Onitsha, and the police from Lagos, when they meet themselves, even if the color of their uniform different, when they say a spirit they call, you know, see a spirit they call be that. Terrorists who said that they will burn down Nigeria if they fail to get the power in 2015, that they even came back later to confess that, yeah, we thought that Jonathan would not hand over power, and their plan was to begin the process of civil war until it would be dragged out of the Aso Rock, like they did to Gbagbo in Ivory Coast, I think, Cote d'Ivoire. So they are the terrorists. Do you need any other explanation? Do you need any other description? Do you need any other proof why the APC, Egbekegbe, is actually the brain behind terrorism in Nigeria? Do you need any other thing? Economic terrorists, jihadist terrorists, and name it. So it's never going to go away. We're talking about the incident and the experience. Well, Jonathan, let's go to that one. What is said about Bokohari that got so many issuing different kind of press statements right now to explain that Jonathan lied against the dead man? So what's the lie? Or where is the lie? Here is the first part.
I will not go through a lengthy protocol because of the time, but there are some few people that we need to recognize. Let me sincerely appreciate our president being represented by the Minister of Defense. Let me appreciate the chairman of this occasion, our daddy, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. Let me also appreciate the person who brought us here and the wife, General Irabor. Thank you for gathering us to celebrate this book. The keynote speaker, let us appreciate the former NSA. We're happy. And let us appreciate the book reviewer, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka. Whenever Kuka is to speak, I'm always pleased because it's more of a scholar than a bishop. I have to thank all of you who are here, serving ministers, former ministers, serving governors, deputy governors, and former governors, serving members of the National Assembly and former members of the National Assembly. But let me really appreciate our traditional institutions led by the Sultan of Sokoto and other traditional leaders are here with us. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will not take much of your time because we've listened to eloquent speakers, listened to the chairman, who listened to the book reviewer, who listened to the former NSA. So I don't really have much to add. But let me first appreciate the man, Irabor, General Irabor. He's really a fine officer. And he's somebody who, the little I know, doesn't play politics with military. After leaving office, when I was in office, I thought that the military services don't play unnecessary politics. Well, we know there's politics everywhere, but they play the politics of within the army, not the kind of politics we play. But after leaving office, I realized that quite a number of professionals in the security services play dirty politics. But General Irabor is one person that does not get into that. White is white, black is black. Thank you, you're a gift to this country. And the title of the book is quite interesting. Scars and the Boko Haram conundrum. It is interesting because, when I was in office, and one of the major scars on my government, and it would be on my face, and like Bishop Cook has said, no plastic or cosmetic surgeon can remove it, is the issue of the Chibok girls. It's a scar that I will die with. But later on, people may know a little more details. And that's also to do with the Boko Haram. What do they really want? Of course, our chairman raised the issue when interviewed some of them, and they gave him some perspective. But probably one day, I pray that some of the Boko Haram leaders may be literate enough to document what they have done, so that people will really know what they wanted. Because it's like the story of the Nigerian Civil War. If you read one of the books, My Command, I think it's one of the first books that came out from President Obasanjo, because he was there. Then Ojukwu wrote his own, Because I Am Involved. So when those who were involved in something say it, you get a different perspective. If you go through a research, interview a lot of people, yes, you'll get part of the story, but you will never get the full story of the Boko Haram. Because I was there. The Boko Haram started 2009 when I was the vice president to Lucky Irabor. Of course, I took over 2010 for 5 years, battling with the Boko Haram until I left. I thought that immediately I leave, within a reasonable time, late General Buhari was going to wipe them out, but till today, the Boko Haram is still there. So the issue of Boko Haram is a little more complex than sometimes we can conjecture. In 1999, when Obasanjo just became a president, we know we had some issues in the Southwest. But government was able to bring it down because there was a clear focus, there was clear reason, and government was able to. Then we had...
Man. They are pushing him to come out, to come and contest in 2027, by the way. Good luck, Jonathan. So he's practically saying that Boko Haram should come out and write a book. Do you understand? Like, Boko Haram should come out and write a book to tell people what they wanted and why they did what they did, because he hoped that they are educated enough to write a book. Aba. If Boko Haram can write a book now, then he compared them to Obasanjo. Obasanjo wrote about the Civil War, Ojukwu wrote his own. So there will be it won't be a bad idea for all these terrorists to write their own and tell us why they are doing what they are doing. So you probably didn't miss anything. It just keep getting worse and worse and worse after him, Abi. So imagine the next person that will come. If he be a Tifku. If he be a Tifku. So when Atiku go bring in own madness, all of them will come say, oh, but not die. You have. Then who's going to be after Atiku? I'm just saying, it was just never say never. It's that place. When Good Luck Jonathan was there, everybody could talk. Everybody could say anything. You could look at him and just like, so dumb. He talks slow. He's a drunk. AP Segbe called him so many things. Today that you are seeing Nigerians calling their president names, it all started from this guy. Everyone, it was so annoying enough that even you that probably never really liked him, it will become annoying. Like, you'll be looking at him and just feel like, man, this guy. So they thought, this was a mistake. Nigeria was supposed to get somebody else, somebody this or that. It was too weak, this or that. But they can't bring Iron Man, Iron Bender, you know, or Director Scott. You remember, Abby? That time when they called him the weak man, he still looks so weak. Yeah. And it is not because he is not a gra man. Don't think when they call this guy, I don't know about others, but when people call him a weak man, right? A man that doesn't really, you know, the blood of Nigerians are not worthy of, my ambition is not worthy the blood of any Nigerian, only for more Nigerians to end up being killed by the ones who don't give a shit about the blood of Nigerians. Do you understand? So it is the fact that if you listen to his, you know, his kind of like thought as a leader, they are so almost so pedestrian. But others are like, he's a lecturer. So if somebody who believes that, you know, it could actually develop based on his own weakness, but based on the strength of others as well, which makes him strong. But people thought they would never have anybody like Jonathan, and they were right. Bokohari came with NEPA bill, and now they have the druggy call Mr. Strategist, that is taking your economy to bend corner, jump corner, having a jump fence, and the rest of that. But there is more. You need to read them to watch this too. Fiona?
Then we had issues in the Niger Delta. And when I became the vice president, one of the major things I did was to visit the most dangerous camp of the militants in the Niger Delta. I remember when we flew down to Warri, by the time we got to the waterfront to take boats to that camp, they sent information to us that anybody following me must not carry a weapon. My ADC, my CSO, that nobody should carry a weapon. In fact, the Commissioner of Police of Delta State said, Vice President, no, you will not go there. The State Director of SSS to say, no, I will not go. I told them I will go. So even my officers, my ADC, my CSO and so on, they handed over their guns to the CP and the SDS of Delta State. And none of them carried a weapon. When we landed at the camp, these boys lying up one this way, one road this way, with their assault rifles, just facing the bush, not even looking at my direction as if there was nothing happening. We passed through them, sorry. We had a meeting with their leaders and so on. We had to spend almost 1 hour there. When we came back, that was the beginning of solving the Boko Haram, the Niger Delta crisis. And we're able to get through. At least now there's a reasonable pace in the Niger Delta. If you, like Bishop mentioned, the 82 and 83, when we have the Maitasinde religious crisis in this country. From research, the Maitasinde religious crisis, when some of them were arrested and analyzed and interviewed, they came from parts of the Sahel area within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, where we had major drought within that period. And the river pest disease that wiped out so many cattle. And so many young people from these areas migrated to the cities, Maiduguri and others, and they had no skills and nothing to do. And they were able to be recruited and cause havoc. Luckily, it was a military government then. So when the military intervened, they were able to bring it down because there was a clear reason. A reason of young people who were looking for survival, but they had no skills, and so on and so forth. So if you put all these things together, you begin to say, this Boko Haram, why is it that from 2009 till date, we've not been able to resolve the crisis of Boko Haram? So just like Bishop Kuka tried to raise some fundamental issues. Yes, we need to approach it differently. The issue of carrots and the stick may be adopted. And yes, probably they need something. But if you look at the weapons they use and you value the weapons, then you know that these are not hungry people. So the soldiers that sometimes capture some of the weapons will see better. But the weapons they use, the ammunitions they use, sometimes they even have more ammunitions than our soldiers. So it doesn't show that they're hungry people. And where are these guns, sophisticated weapons coming from? And you begin to see that the external hands are also involved, especially when I was a president. So it's a bit complex. And it's not a matter of a single story. But I believe as a nation, we have to look at the concept of Boko Haram and approach it differently from. I always appreciate people who clearly document events so that maybe sometimes when we write our own, we'll borrow from the petition. And I believe that all the military officers who were involved in this Boko Haram saga should be able to give us information about what the Boko Haram stood for. If it is only about hunger, because we tried different options, I don't need to give a sermon. It will look as if I am trying to defend my own government. That will come up later when we will document, we write our books. But I believe we took different options, we set different committees. We tried our best within that 5 years that I was there. I believe late Buhari too must have tried his best, because one of the committees we set up then, the Boko Haram nominated Buhari to lead their team to negotiate with government. So I was feeling that, if they nominated Buhari to represent them and have a discussions with the government committee, then when Buhari took over, it could have been an easy way to negotiate with them, and they would have handed over their guns, but it was still there till today. I believe the government, luckily the defense minister is here. The service chiefs all are represented here. I think we will need a slightly different approach, and God willing, we will be able to resolve this crisis. I thank you all.
They are lying to themselves. Now, one of the things that makes it difficult to solve a problem is not being able to identify the problem. You see, the problem that you have, or Nigeria has, so to say, is not because some ragtag terrorists, well armed, whether they are externally being funded or whatever, right? Whoever they are, right? The problem is the fact that there is no political will to crush them. They can never be more powerful than the army of your country, ever. There is no terrorist that they put together that will ever be more powerful than the government of that country, unless it is allowed to fester and until they become so huge, so big, that they could actually take over the country. And the number of terrorists they will need to possibly take over every part of Nigeria by these Boko Haram jihadist terrorists, they probably will need to import all of the terrorists from all over the world to be able to do that successfully, in my own opinion. So it means those who are funding them, those who are covering them, and making sure that they are evading justice, all of them are not carrying guns. They are in state government houses. They are inside the Aso Rock. They are they are inside the important institutions where decisions to crush them could have been taken and implemented successfully. So it is only an unbiased, patriotic government that really, really want to end this with a political will that can do it. Others will just keep giving you reasons, excuses why, well, we did this, we tried that, we don't know what they want. Really? These guys currently controls areas, territories. They are called ungoverned territories. These are areas where you would never see Nigerian authority, police, military, no. And every day it goes on like that. The military will make progress here. They will say, the military crushed the terrorists and they killed some of them and all of that in this area now. Instead of them to now try and build on that success to ensure that any area they have managed to recover from these terrorists, they never fall back into the hands of the terrorists. But the battle got so prolonged that some of the areas they once chased these terrorists away from, right? Some of them have returned back to the control of the terrorists because there are even more terrorists now than just Boko Haram. They are not poor, he's right. When you consider the price of each weapon these guys are carrying, the weapons are war weapons. They are not chicken change weapons that you just, no. How are they getting their recruit? It's also very open. Nigeria border remains the most porous border in the world. I don't know if there's another border. Americans are so crazy about their borders, right? But they have no idea what it is like in Nigeria. Maybe, especially the northern part of Nigeria. Place that makes it so easy for these terrorists to kind of was in, was out, and do a lot of things and even remain there, make their camps, and continue to terrorize the country, especially the northwest of the country. Northeast has been so hot for over a decade. Now they would northwest. No thanks to APC, Bekebe is spreading. North Central is where you have this Kwara, and you know the story of Kwara. Oh, hang on. Their governor went there. Did I share that yesterday, didn't I? Right. Then they were now talking about these killings in Kwara, where a number of people have been killed already. The latest one is the 15 plus 2. 1, 2, 3. That's like 18 people killed, right? In Irabor, that's the name of the local government, Irabor local government area of Kwara State, right? Especially in Okeode, that's where it happened, Okeode in Irabor. Their governor was talking about this, and guess what he said? He said, well, under PDP, some bandits, right? Some bandits killed 23 people in Offa. You remember that Offa robbery that they convicted those people to death now? Remember? The state governor, APC, Egbekegbe, the guy that was there in Imo State feasting, clicking wine glasses and all of that with Tiknumbu and Co., celebrating 10 years of APC in Nigeria, through a book that Oplesus Odigba published, right? While the people of, Okeode continue to migrate out of their own community in fear of the attack of the Fulani terrorists. So when eventually went there, he's comparing Saraki. He says Saraki, under PDP, bandits, he now changed the armed robbers who were later arrested and prosecuted and convicted. They were sentenced to death as we speak. But the terrorists that have been killing people in Kwara State, which they have done so much to suppress the news for years now they can't really keep it away from the media. Here is what it says.
If I may ask you, the PDP, they are kind of saying that the administration is not committed to the security of the state, unlike when they were in power in the election.
It's laughable. It was under PDP that, let me put it in context. Bukola Saraki, via court statement and his own statement, was that he is the leader of PDP in Kwara. Under PDP in Kwara, under his leadership, 33 people were killed in one day. He should take responsibility for that death. In Offa, more than have been killed by bandits this year in Kwara. Not only were they killed in one day, the boys that, when they were his boys, they went in Ashwebi of the Saraki wedding to rob Offa. Not only that, they went with vehicles, number plates marked Saraki. But thank God, they've all been sentenced to death now. And Saraki himself is in court.
You get that? So he said the armed robbers, they went to do the robbery in Offa, where they killed 22 or 23 people in a PDP bus or PDP van with a plate number linked to Saraki. So, you know, there's only 18 people they killed. So you compare that. Which one is bad? That's what their state governor was talking about. They are comparing who died more. How many people died under Bokohari? How many people died under Jonathan? How many people died under PDP? How many people died under APC? Do you know? That's how they do their comparisons. Okolu, who has no time or have no real time for sympathizing with the victims of this same insecurity and terrorism, other than Onanuga posting about Tifnumbu's condolences. And Tifnumbu said that the killers will be brought to book. They will be brought to book. Kolu was in Jos, Plateau State today. He didn't go there because of anybody than because of the party chairman, his own party chairman, the guy he nominated a few months back. Yelwada. His mom died. So they're having the funeral for his mom. Therefore, Kolu flew from Lagos to Jos, and also had the chance when he attended the church program where his men are currently presenting as meeting with the Northern Christian group or Northern Christian leaders at the burial of APC chairman's mother. So Kolu then preached against hate. You got what I mean? Like all these hateful things, hateful stuff that people say to themselves, or because of their differences and about Nigeria, kind of short videos, right? His arrival as well as the speech. First, his arrival in Jos.
No problem. How are you?
Then he went on to preach in the church as he delivered a speech, and this is for the burial. Remember? So let's go back in there when he finally landed at the venue of his host. Kolu
and friendliness. Hate is not an option for us. Love is what you preach, that we should love one another. Nobody Nobody determine what God has ordained. God's ordained action and his promises is what matters. I inherited Islam from my family. I didn't change. But my wife is a pastor. She prays for me. No conflict. And I never did at any single time to convince her or combat her. I believe in the freedom of religion. We are praying to the same God. We are answerable to the same Almighty God. We will answer to him. We will account for him. Our deed, our character, our love to our fellow beings is what is important. Not the method and the faith of it. So Almighty, we pray to accept the soul of Lydia and give all that she left behind a blessing and glory. To say, may her soul rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Kolu. You know, there's nothing to gain from hate. That is a good message. If politicians are very much willing to walk their talk, but like I have said many times, even the demented one is an actor too. Yeah, politicians are actors. They can be anything you want them to be for the particular audience at a particular time, you know, because it was the same Kolu, by the way. I'll come back to it too. This is what just came to my head. I don't know. Just make me remember that Kolu can be afar too.
Alhamdulillah. 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 Alhamdulillah.
So he inherited Islam from his papa, be from his family. They cannot say Alhamdulillah, 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 Rabbil Alamin. They say Alhamdulillah, 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 be Amin. Something like that again.
Alhamdulillah. 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 Alhamdulillah.
Be you Amin. Person where inherited this anyway, doesn't really matter. We operate to the same God according to him. But the most important part of his message is that he is right. Hate destroys the person who hates, not the person you hate. Do you understand? So just let's go. And yeah, I'm not a preacher like that. So you know, sometimes me I they ask Ogun help me blind somebody. Even though I know Ogun won't care. You just look at me and say, oh, Baba, I don't get that power to blind anybody for now, Jerry. Everybody they try to figure out how tomorrow could be, especially if you are from Nigeria. Sure you get. So you can't, even the ancestors, everybody get the film. Somebody said that a while back. But a friend who just came from Nigeria now said, no, it's not like that too. Because I was like, I heard that you know, these days, because of the economy, right? Even the ancestors, they don't ration food. You know, like everybody will get problem. You go to a spiritualist, they say go buy cow, you go buy ram, you go buy chicken, and the rest of that. So with the situation that is going on in the country right now, so people are beginning to be like, just bring anything where you get. Therefore, even the ancestors themselves are kind of like feeling it. So if you can't say, oh, you want me to go blind you, you don't really have to worry. Because Ogu himself right now, like everybody is hustling, so to say. But yeah, we are all praying to the same God according to Kalu, but do not hate. It sort of like slowly hits you. It hits you little by little and little. I don't know how I can explain that to you, right? Have you hated anybody before? Like you hated them so much. Oh, I hate this person. I want to. Yeah? Your ex, or your former boss, your former friend, or somebody who did something so bad that you are like, I want to out. You know how much energy that takes from you, like when you feel so angry. I've been very angry before, even of recent. But my own anger is always the one that ends in personal regret that why did I do that to myself? And I look for who to blame. I just blame whoever gets me angry and say it's them. They are the one who made me so angry. I hate it when I'm so angry like this. And like, you know what I mean? Then later, I have to give myself the anger management. Like, nobody make you angry. Or you just the para. When you calm down, right? You go back to the problem will make you angry. Go fix some or fix yourself. But politicians spread hate. They fund hate because they weaponized hatred, tribal hatred, ethnic, religious supremacy. They are all of their doings. So I wish they can walk their talk seriously. And they will do a lot of changes. They will make a lot of difference. Right? But that won't win it won't win them election, so to say, fortunately. So Kalu finished and flew back to Lagos, where he is currently spending his break. Same people will go line the airport for him when he got to. It's crazy though, right? When he wants to fly, they will line the side of the aircraft to say goodbye. Once he gets in, and everybody turn off the camera, some of them will jump in, and they will fly back with him. When he gets to where he's going, right? Those ones will come down from the aircraft first, join the ones who came to welcome them. All of them will now line the side of the aircraft again, right? And when it comes down, it will now greet them. But no be us travel together. Why must we also be at the same tradition, royalty, and the reason why they really wanted the power? Everything else is just going to be added, you know, everything else. And those who are protecting them, like the policemen, some of them were saying, they are retired, by the way. They were seen protesting and lamenting what they are passing through. They have been the one protecting them. When they loot money and taking the money to their villages, we are the one protecting them. Now we are retired. They are not paying us. Reactions of Nigerians to this video is quite hilarious, right? These are pensioners or police pensioners. Some said, Unabi Mumu, now your pension, they loot, carry go village where you help them protect. You guide your own pension where they steal. You guide them go village. Now you're going to protest on the streets. So who should go and get the money for you? Crazy, yeah? Retired police officers.
At 5 years after my 5 years, then my entitlement will go and send to a company. Did I work for a company? No. How will Nigerian police be company? We are the security of this country. They steal, we escort their money. That money they steal, we escorted that from where they steal to their village. Then at the end of the day, I have the money in my house. I even I got so many stealing money. If it is now, they could have here and win.
We are even the one that will also, protect the money they are stealing to their village, to their deeds. And it is so true. If you are a police officer that is currently working in what they call the security team of politicians, it is true. You are the ones who are going to protect the guy. You are also going to witness them loading money into the trunk of their vehicles. And then you are also going to provide security for that money to make sure that the money is taken to his village to go and share, either to share or here you get. You still have to follow them, oga. Then after that, they will say, may they pay you 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira. And then you'll be like, man, he's a very good man. Oh. He's kind of very nice. He always take care of his security guys. But now your money, you see them, all that bag of money that you have them moved inside, right? All those bags, those are stolen money. Any money you see politicians cash out in the bag, and you're a police officer with your guns, dress smart and all that, you are mumu. One day you will be like those guys. One day. So talking about the people in power, as well as those who are like the underhand unseen unseen hands in government. I want to go to Rivers. All right. You've not heard from the Fulbara for a while. Okay. I have. And it's like, you remember that Fulbara that started that 404 fight with Wiki, and then that then led to his suspension, a state of emergency and all that. Yeah. The one that is always talking like, I see what you do, all of you. I want you to know that I'm going to, that kind talk like a talking head. I'm sorry, talking head. So Fulbara was talking to the permanent secretary in River State and reminding them that everything all of them did during the time of the state of emergency, that is aware of all they did under the sole administrator is very much aware of, and they know themselves, so it's practically not saying what they did, though. But yeah, you probably will see more of this kind of his videos soon, because you know something. You might think that it's probably over after his suspension, and there is no more problem or anything anymore. Well, I am going to advise you not to sleep on it. Last week, Sunday, Fulbara, as the governor, the state's government called, they invited everyone for a Thanksgiving that they called a peace return, something Thanksgiving. That is to say, they are all together now, there's no fight. They are one family, blah, blah, blah. So, Amawule and his team, the speaker, Fulbara and his team, which was supposed to include his commissioners and every one of them that were resigning that time. Everybody was supposed to come back now and they are fine. So it was Fulbara and his own pals that went for the Thanksgiving. There was supposed to be a state government function. While Amawule and his own group, plus the local government, this stuff, right? They went to Amawule's hometown where they had their own Thanksgiving. And this was supposed to be like people who have settled. Everything is fine. Fulbara is going to have to submit to Wiki from now. And that's why there is no what. It may not be so like that too. I'm not saying it's not, but we probably haven't heard the last. That's what I'm saying. So when he returned, He's talking to the permanent secretaries that he left for the sole administrator. And then he came back too. And the moment he came back, he dissolved his cabinet, sacked his commissioner, sacked everybody, and he said he wants to, like redo it so that he can submit the list to Amawule, to the permanent secretaries. Here is Fubara.
I never asked anybody from my commissioners and anyone that has worked with me to please me. I always request that do the right thing so that posterity will judge you. For every one of you here, you said, who were involved in illegality. When I say illegality, I'm not talking about the issue of the administration of the emergency rule, it was the situation, but not guiding them to do what is right, supporting those things that are not the standard of civil service. Your punishment will come. Just be prepared. I'm not interested in whatever was done. It wasn't our fault. It was a situation that warranted it. But those things that were not done rightly, those ones that didn't follow the mob process and that you were involved in, I'm sorry for you. The records will be there, and at the right time, I will be bringing them up one after the other. You, the new permanent secretary, I don't want to tell them any story about you, but I'm very sure a good number of you know that he stood his ground as a professional, knowing that do the right thing. Defend your superior. It doesn't matter, but do it in the right way. So I want to commend you and to request that now that you also never asked anybody.
You know something about these guys is that it's like when you're having a boardroom meeting. You get it now? And the boss is around. And before the boss is around, everybody knows that something is amiss, and you, the two of you, right, you've done something which probably prompted this meeting. And everybody's seated. And then the boss is talking to say, you all know what you have done. If you know you have done anything illegally or wrongly, I just want you to know that we are going to find you and we're going to share you get. And then you are seated there and you're like, man, I know that he's talking about me. Maybe because of what I did in my own ministry. That's why he's saying all these things he's saying, I know he's, then others in the room will know that he's talking about you and you, except for others, maybe for another person that others are not aware of. But at least in the room, you get to know that it's about this Mayegun. I know who he's talking about. He's talking about Mayegun, Commissioner Mayegun. And everybody will say, it's because Commissioner Mayegun don't go sign those land thing. You remember that? Ubara, before they suspended him, right? Commissioner Mayegun was, sorry, not Commissioner, Pamsek Mayegun is permanent secretary. Pamsek Mayegun of the Ministry of Land knew that before they suspended the governor, right? The governor placed embargo on land, only for the governor to come back and realize that they've signed like about 30,000 land COs. And it was called Permanent Secretary Mayegun that processed the whole thing. So everybody knows. They're just waiting for the hammer or what is going to happen next. That's what I sensed. So Fubara is about to start kind of like acting in a way that it will come back into the news very soon. But maybe there is no cause for alarm. Pastor Adeboye, Baba Adeboye, has now called on all of you to get ready for the national prayer for Nigeria, because it is time to pray for the politicians in Nigeria, to pray to God for politicians in Nigeria to have the guidance of God and did the country good and all that. It's called national prayer. The last time Adeboye said people should pray for 100 days, he quickly came out later to say, no, he was only talking to his church members. So now he's back in the news. So people are saying, why is he asking people to go and pray for Nigeria under this APC? It has been pray for Nigeria, pray for dollar, pray for naira, pray for this, pray for that. That wasn't the case under under Tifnumbu, under Jonathan. Egbere Jonathan actually had Pastor Adeboye mobilized the members of his church to protest the insecurity in the country, to protest the hardship, the economic hardship in the country. And he did that in the name of prayer walk. The prayer walk that was calling on the government to fix the problem, fix the insecurity, fix the country, this and that. And since then, about Adeboye, when the APC now came in, right, we later discovered that, well, RCCG is just the political, it's just the praying arm of the APC. Discovering that it's no longer so kind of like confusing anymore. Why every now and then he will come out and tell you that the God said you should pray. And he won't come out and actually speak on the challenges being faced, even by the member of his congregation. RCCG is said to be the biggest church in Nigeria. Do you know that? They've got the biggest members, the largest members among the Christendom in Nigeria. They've got that influence. In 2022, with the plot and hope that Pastor Ruga, Ikene Shatabandu, remember him, that's the Agbowori Babaoja, would possibly clinch the APC, Egbekebe's ticket, and becomes the standard bearer for their 2023 charade. In anticipation, Adeboye and his crew, right, they set up what they call the political, they have a name for it, I forgot it. It was like a political branch of every chapter, every branch or whatever of RCCG to start nurturing the future political leaders. That's what they called it. Meanwhile, it was just to kind of say, it's a circular. It is to prepare the ground for Pastor Ruga's campaign for president in 2023, which would have been an easy, that's their calculation, an easy maybe 20 to 40 million RCCG members who are also going to be RCCG voters. But Tifnumbu happened. The rest, they say, is history. However, when you look at every organ of the APC, when it comes to the southern part, those who are members of the Bokohari's regime, they are consultants who are from the south. You will realize that 90% of them are from the RCCG. If you have not been paying attention, start paying now, okay? When you look at the Tifnumbu's regime, those who are holding key positions from the southern part of Nigeria that he appointed, more than 80% of them are from the RCCG as well. Simply put, RCCG has a very great stake in what APC, Egbekegbe, does. And that is why it is easier for you to see more and more Nigerians who are indeed facing it, of course, still defend the country and tell you that God, because they still have to listen to the messages of the likes of Adeboye that many of them don't even know that it's already a political branch of APC. Egbekegbe. They will tell you stories of how Adeboye is this or that, But the thing is this, they have a very strong stake. Do you know what they are doing right now? This issue of tax or no tax that they want to start in 2027, right? I say 2026, They have done the media round. A lot of people have questioned all of the idea, the logic behind it and all of that. Even those who supported them when they were doing the propaganda around it, some of you who did, right? Now that you are beginning to even understand that before you share money, the money they want to share, how are they going to collect the money? And from who? A lot are beginning to realize that more. They don't tell us that one, no. So media is no longer mediating anymore for them. Okay, when it comes to this tax thing, they are so worried that they believe there is likely going to be a problem in 2026 when they start their new tax law. They've done everything they could do in the media, but they believe that the oppositions have shut them down. People are believing what the oppositions are telling them. Meanwhile, they are not lying to you. Just question what they are saying. Then you get to see the truth that is hidden behind it. A lot of people are beginning to see that. Now they are anticipating 2026 when they will start all of this. Do you know where they have taken the message to now? RCCG. Yeah, RCCG organized tax. The same guy, Oyedele, Oyedele, Bayodele. You know that guy you've seen on TV many times. That's so good. He talks so smoothly. It makes you feel so comfortable. Like, don't listen to what they are saying. That's not how it works. You see, the concept of bringing our taxes together to give more money. He wants to raise money for Kolu and other thieves. But he's not interested in answering the question of what will happen to those who then take the money and squander the money. What should happen to them? Is there any part of the tax that says if they loot the money, this is what should happen to them? Straight up, no, there's nothing that will happen to them. They will let another set of the law deal with that. This particular one is to deal with you and pick your pockets. So if they collect all this money, what will happen to these thieves when they squander the money? EFCC will look for them. Really? Are you sure? That guy, they don't take him to RCCG. They now organized the same sweet talk, assuring them, because they understand the fact that that is a very huge platform that's got their back, RCCG. And it was there. Remember when they had this NBA conference in Enugu? And Shewa Kimbaloye then asked the audience, who were lawyers, that if their lives have changed for any better since Tinubu came to power, and they all screamed a loud no. Remember that time? Ayodele, don't go RCCG. Go use that one. Talk to the chippies. Now, you know, your life has changed. You know, this particular tax law is going to change everything. Nigeria will be, your life will be even more better. Listen, when all these people who are criticizing this law, they don't understand that, you know, people like us, they don't understand the fact that this country has potential. This country, in the name of Jesus. Oyedele Abayodele. Well, God, I won't play the video. You can possibly be convinced. And if you are a taxman, economist, or something, you're probably looking at me and just shaking your head like, boy, you are ignorant, Gonsha. I agree. I won't even argue. I agree. There's nothing people didn't call me when I sat and I was using the actions and, you know, all these pieces of actions of these guys, put them together, and I was able to actually predict it, that it will end in disaster. Here you get. Today, even Tinubu is saying he inherited a near collapsed country. I'm not an expert. Obunwe, call me ignorant. Here you get, if it makes you feel better. But we are always going to have a time to look back. Unfortunately, most people like that don't even come back and say, Mayegun, and you were right, Mayegun. They don't come back. They just wait for another time they can tell me again, man, this guy, you are just so ignorant. Say, yeah, I agree. I'm a layman. I'm not an expert. But when it comes to the characters that are on your screens talking to you, Papa, I swear I'm like, I'm more than an expert when I'm talking about these rogues in Nigeria, whether na Babariga they wear or na suit they wear, whether they are coming from World Bank or they are coming from Deloitte, or they are coming from whatever it is, the world #1, whatever it is they do, wherever they are coming from. When it comes to that contraption Nigeria, I'm also an expert. and I know the criminals and their goal, even from far away, like this one.
Now, part of the context before I go into details is also something that I hear always. You know, one thing I always promise people that I'll promise you today is I'll always be honest with you. Whether you now like the outcome or not is a different thing, but I'll be honest with you. And I'm not here to promote anyone, not even the government. I'm speaking to facts, and you make your own decisions. Many people would ask today, and I saw it during the recent MBA conference in Enugu, they will say, is your life better today than it was 2 years ago? Of course, the answer would be a resounding no. But the problem is not with the answer, the problem is with the question. The question presupposes that if we did nothing and maintained the status quo as it was as of May 2023, that our life today will be exactly the same as it was 2 years ago. And a liter of petrol will be the same amount. A bag of rice will be the same amount. Exchange rate of dollars will be the same amount. Guess what? That is the biggest fallacy. If government had not introduced the reforms that they introduced in the past 2 years, the picture will look like what you have on the screen. As at May 2023, I tried to use traffic colors. Nigeria was amber, waiting to turn red. You know amber can turn to green, but this was amber turning red. It got so bad that Nigeria was trading a negative balance of payments. We're receiving less dollars than we're spending. Nigeria had printed about 30 trillion naira to spend, just printing money to spend. That's part of the inflation we are dealing with today. Because government ran out of revenue. We spent 97% of federal government revenue to service debts, which meant everything else we did, from paying salaries to overhead to capital, we borrowed. We didn't borrow at lower digit interest rates. They were high 20s. The NNPC was supposed to be remitting money to the Federation account. NNPC said the government was owing them money. How? Because all of our entitlements, NNPC used it to subsidize PMS. It wasn't enough. They went to all the oil companies that were supposed to pay royalty, lifted the oil for royalty, sold it, used it to subsidize PMS. It wasn't enough. The taxes that they were supposed to pay, petroleum profit tax, they said to FRS, we won't be able to pay you. They added it to subsidy. It still wasn't enough. When they ran out of options, guess what they did? They said, how about future production of crude oil? NNPC began, and this is not Africa magic, I'm telling you real life. They began to use future production of crude oil as guarantee security to borrow dollars at double-digit interest rate to subsidize current consumption of PMS. They did it so much so that today that I speak to you, we can barely boast of equivalent of 200,000 barrels per day that is unencumbered for Nigeria. That 200,000 barrels that was left, in my estimation, was less than 6 months of headroom. If this reform had not been done by May, by the end of 2023, you know what will happen naturally? Once you exhaust your future production and you can't print dollars, you will not be able to bring in any refined products. This is a situation like what happened in Sri Lanka. You hold 10,000 naira, you pray to God to find 1 liter of petrol to buy. There will be no Dangote refinery because there's no way that business will survive if you have to sell at 160, 180, 200 and go and pray to God for government to pay you subsidy that they had no money to pay. The economy was grinding to a halt and it was very close. The margin of safety was very thin, this thing. So those reforms took us up, if you look at the screen, to 2 years later, which is 2025. But it's harder times than it was in 2023, but it's harder times before things get better. If we had not done the reforms, it would have been still now hardest times and economic collapse. So anytime you have that conversation with anyone, because it's important that you are well informed, so that even when you want to get angry, you apply your energy properly. Okay? So one of my prayers is, I hope nobody will say to us, they want to return subsidy so they can win election. Anything that returns subsidy is taking us back to the evil days.
Do you see that nice talk? You tell me that if you are not actually really watching Mayegu and you just sat there quietly and that guy is on your screen talking to you about finance expenses, expenditures, incomes, you know, the fear of the wars and all of that, you tell me that you will not sit down there and be like, wow, I never knew all of this. Because number one is coming from, what do you call it? A sort of kind of like a financial firm that is known globally. So that gives him all the needed experience, starting with presentation, all this, what do you call this, their prompted presentation, right? So presentation, and then the usage of key kind of words that will get you confused, but you are still going to be amazed. Say, wow, I never thought it's like that. So let me rephrase, or paraphrase rather, part of what he said. He knew his audience, that most of them are probably financial illiterate, so to say. So that gives him an edge. Number two is speaking directly to possibly religious people in a church. That itself means they don't even have the mind of probing or asking too much questions, because they are meant to listen and process what they have heard. So to say, thinking outside that box could probably be blasphemy. So let us paraphrase some of what he said, the jargons he just said. Corruption destroyed Nigeria's income, or should I say revenue stream, when APC, Ebekegbe, came to power in 2015. A reminder, Nigeria was paying 750 billion naira for subsidy, and you were buying a liter of petroleum at the time for 87 naira. I don't know if some of you even remember that you actually bought a liter of petroleum in Nigeria for 87 naira, and then 97 naira under GEJ lantern. I don't know if you remember. Anyway, they were paying subsidy. Nigeria refineries, at least, were working at over 51%, which reduced the subsidy that they were paying, with the expectation that at least a GEJ lantern decided to stop the subsidy so that they could use proceeds from the subsidy, right, to cushion the effect of what the removal would be at the time, use other proceeds of it to complete the refinery so that their importation of fuel will end. Then APC came in. From 750 billion naira per liter, subsidy per year, Nigeria started paying, by the time Bokohari was done, Nigeria was paying over 5 trillion naira for subsidy. There is no single refinery working anymore. Zero refinery working. Do you understand? And Nigerians were buying a liter of petroleum at the time for 160, 170 naira per liter. 8 years after all of that. So everything died. Not only that, too. Nigeria started losing more to oil thieves. People were bringing vessels to Nigeria to steal crude oil and take it away. From 1,400 barrels of crude oil per day, Nigeria dwindled straight down to 850,000 barrels per day under Bokohari. More than 700,000 barrels of crude oil was being stolen every day, conveniently. So Tinubu came in. And, you can't work with their data. Most of their data are lies that will eventually come to public sooner or later. It won't be like their Lagos. All Nigeria needed was to actually stop the stealing. Number one, who are those selling Nigeria crude oil? NNPC. At a point, there's so much gap in the remittances of the money of the crude oil they sold. And it became a tradition that nobody even cared. Nobody cared. If you raise it, it's just going to be like inconsequential, non-issue. And the law says that NNPC has the right to sell Nigeria crude oil, remit the money to the federation accounts. So they now said they were using the sale because Nigerian crude oil production has reduced and the sale number has reduced as well. They're not making much money anymore. As they were going borrowing everywhere on the side, though, that's a different ballgame. But the oil sector, which Bokohari is the minister, was the minister of petroleum at the time, they said whatever was left from the crude oil they were selling, they were using it to pay subsidy. Subsidy to who? The only person importing crude, finished product to Nigeria was the NNPC. Who are you paying subsidy to? So they ran the scam for 8 years. Then Tifnumbu came. Like I said, all they needed was just to stop the stealing, right? By the time Tifnumbu was coming in, Dangote refinery was like about 50% completion, which means you could actually fill in the gap, stop giving dollars to importers anymore. If they cannot probably invest their money in your local refinery, give them a 6-month rebate or 6 months a gap. And by so doing, cut anything that will keep demanding for dollar. I can say this all night. It's crazy, right? Sometimes this is just me refreshing your memories of how things got to where they are. So if you are now having more crude oil sales, can you even be honest enough to say this is how much we made from crude oil? NNPC under Tifnumbu tell you how much they've made from crude oil. They have told you that since Tifnumbu came in, they have managed to increase the production of crude oil in Nigeria. Shouldn't that be more money? So how much have they been making for real? 1.5 million barrel of crude oil they say they are making now. And they are going to 2.2 million barrel a day. There should be more money. More money in the sense that you don't have to tax the people that are already poor. You don't have to tax them to death. But they are making it look so nice, so good. Tax is good. People are not really paying tax in Nigeria. The Nigerians are just this. Everybody that is complaining is not. Don't worry. Right? January will soon be here. And then you understand the reality from the fiction. The problem, by the way, is not about the tax you pay. These guys want money. They want more money. But for what? For themselves to be stolen. Why they keep borrowing on the side, which also continue to put stress on your own naira. At least economists, is that not? When your naira is not backed by any real production apart from crude oil, everything else, non-oil production, non-oil revenue. You don't know that your pocket at the peak when they talk about non-oil. When Nigeria cannot say, okay, Nigeria is exporting wheat, Nigeria is exporting soya bean, Nigeria is exporting this, Nigeria in large, massive quantity. You get what I mean? Like massive, because you have excess of that in Nigeria. There's nothing like that. So where are they making the non-oil money from? They keep cooking the figure to look good, but when you go out there, the reality is different. Now, they need more money from the World Bank and others to guarantee that they have to tax you. And they will make it sound so good, so sweet to you. I go there, yeah. I promise you I'll be here at the end of the day. So they said it is also time for Tifnumbu's men to stir the North more about all the achievement of Tifnumbu in the North, because some people are trying to make the North not to support Tifnumbu in 2027. So those who are political appointees from that place, they've chosen one person. His job is to go and tell the North what Tifnumbu has done for them. And I'm like, shouldn't people just kind of see it? If you have done something, I'm just saying. So they inaugurated one, by the way, yesterday.
A keynote speech on public enlightenment movement by the great achievement of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, by Nuhu Abdullahi. Please put your hands together for him.
Esteemed media houses present, the Kannywood members, social media influencers, and other dignitaries who are present. It is an honor to address you today as someone who is deeply interested in the future of Nigeria, especially the future of northern Nigeria, where I hailed it from. We are not gathered here for politics, but for us to reflect on the real and tangible progress recorded under the leadership of President Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu over the past 2 years in our region, the northern Nigeria. It is said, seeing is believing. We are gathered here today, or as we witnessed already, because we watched the several video clips of the progress recorded, especially the infrastructural projects that has been taking place or has been taking place in the northern Nigeria. for us to, appreciate what is going on. And I believe we owe a great deal of gratitude to President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his dedication in the growth of northern Nigeria. The Kano to Kaduna Rail Project. This project begins under this administration at 15% completion. Today, I can report to you that it is stand at 53%. General Fund projects with beneficiaries of over 500,000 as of today. The Kano Maradi Railway projects, which was beginning during this administration at 5%, and today it stands at 60% completion. The Revenue Hub Estates, the lower food prices, the ongoing 140 kilometer by 2, which is 280 kilometer of Abuja Kaduna Kano Expressway, and improved security in northern Nigeria. But let us all be clear. This project are just the beginning. What we are witnessing today is just a phase 1 of public enlightenment movement projects. The second, third, and fourth phases of this project are coming, and we are going to showcase them. We are going to let our people to understand what is really going on and the progress that is being recorded under this administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It is easy to overlook progress, especially in the time of challenge. But this project conducted by President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu prove that real transformation is happening and change is happening for the better of Arewa. Let us continue to support these projects and these initiatives, encourage their completion, and take pride in the progress that is being recorded. Let us focus on the benefit these projects are going to bring to us, rather than any political differences.
And we are competing with armed robbers and the bandits to recruit from the youths who are unemployed. 33% unemployed. Recruit 50 million youths into the army and the other thing. Take away from their recruitment source. What they will eat? Cassava, agbado, corn in the morning, yam in the afternoon. It's growing here. You create demand and consumption. For over 5 million army of boot camps. We create our food. That's money for the farmers. That's consumption for the soldiers and skill development. Don't call them illiterate. Don't talk about illiteracy. Anybody who can own gun, who can handle gun, who can cock gun and clean the chamber and cock and shoot is technically competent to repair a tractor in the farm.
Kolu. Rather than then recruit these 50 million youth to go to the farm and possibly, cultivate the land and grow food, they are recruiting them as online trolls, as offline mobilizers for Tifnumbu's, kind of like survivor, sort of. They are hiring them group by group. Their job is to go and tell everybody that what Tifnumbu is doing or planning to do for them and why their future is pretty much depends on it. So the money to do this is federal money. And in northern part of Nigeria, the young men have already set the ball rolling. So you're going to see more of different groups. For this, the younger Egba group for youth of this, youth of that. You go even see the youth of your community. They don't have to come from your community. They just need to print a banner in the name of your town as those who have endorsed Kolu. The show is about to get started. Do you get what I mean? Like, it should be interesting. Okay. Yeah, it should. Now, my time is almost up. And I want to remind you that please, if you haven't really liked the broadcast, please like it. So many of you who knows that you have not been receiving any notification if my ego is live and all that, right? I have two options or two solutions. The first one is that as you're watching this video, right? You could just leave the comment section, okay? And click on that Mayegun's Diary political name, right? Either on another device of yours. Tap it. Then it's going to take you to the channel, like the page, all right? Check again. That's where you should check if your notification setting is still on. Even if it is on, right? Do me a favor. Tap it and off it. Just for a second. Tap it back on. So I think when you tap it back on, it is going to give you the option of, is it all the time or only when I am live? Just put all the time. Let's try and deal with that. The second solution is that I have tried to, or I will probably be trying to leave this broadcast, live broadcast, right there at the front of the channel, meaning every 7 p.m. UK, Nigeria time. Just if you are interested in chilling with Mayegun that evening, right? Just go search for Mayegun. Just go to Mayegun's Diary Political straight up. You are going to see the upcoming broadcast as the highlights. Let's see how that goes. I'll keep trying other things. So let's wrap it up. In Lagos, few days ago, the netizens, these are the social media users, they reacted to an image of those who are clearing drainage in Lagos. And this image, right, these images were posted by the Commissioner for Environment, Tokunbo Wahab, Wahabi Wole Wole. So, and that got people talking like, why would people go into the gutters and using their hands to pack all the debris or the dirt and that dark looking what, you know? Another reaction. I won't show you the pictures, so I'm not going to ruin your evening or your day. But one of the reasons why you get to see Wahab everywhere is because he believes that there are so many properties that are built on the water channels in Lagos, and these had created more flooding problems in the state. So these two issues seem to have now motivated the Wahhabi to start using excavators to extract some of these blocked drainages. He shared some clips, since we're always like checking on him. What is he up to in Lagos? They are cleaning the drainages like this. Someone said it's just for the gram. Now that's not really a professional work or something. And they should have brought this truck and pump the water out, I think. Like suck it out and then start proper. I don't know how they did it in these countries. It's like before they move people to any area, they would have done all the underground work, the drainage system and all that, but ours is so different. I don't know. I'll leave it at that, right? So thank you so much again, everyone, for your time. Okay. I know that we haven't really taken calls in the last week, right? But let's see what happens tomorrow. If we have a brunch time, which we can have like a recap of all of this. Tomorrow is Sunday, remember? So we can have all of this together and possibly have a chat around it. But after this now, what's going to come on next is going to be the replays from the last 2 nights. So if you're still up, you can watch that. But if you really have to go right now, remember, it's like the broadcast. Okay? And yeah, I'm going to see you again. Gabba Live. Guess what, right? I was looking, when you mentioned California, right? So I was looking at a trip to the US, probably early next year. And then I saw that, it's quite interesting. I wish it's probably cheaper, right? So I saw that I could actually go to about 4, 5, 6 US cities, like states, fly into all of them, spend like about maybe 20 days or 21 days in the US. It could be everywhere for just under 1,300 pounds. I was like, I wish I have money right now, and I'll just be like, But yeah, I'll see you sometime soon. Okay? You just take care. And everyone else, enjoy the rest of your evening. And good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Mayegun dayari politico. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bíjó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Mayegun máa wí. ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń gba rìbá. Máyégún máa bí. Ayé ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Máyégún máa bí. Ayé ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Òkúra olóṣèlú. Máyégún máa bí. Ayé ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Ayé ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra kí. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.